Well, it has been a big news cycle in the last 24 hours in the NRL. James Hooper is here. The slinging match between Spencer Leniu and Johnathan Thurston continues to take on new twists and turns. Now, onlookers last night were shocked to see both men engaged in an argument in full view of everyone on Suncorp Stadium, so on field, and so it drew a lot of attention. You could see that it was quite a tense exchange, and then since then we've had updates from, Spencer Leniu took to social media to defend his position. Trent Robinson was asked about in his post-match press conference, and you can see here, this is Johnathan Thurston approaching Trent Robinson in the hallways of Suncorp Stadium last night. This has become quite ugly, and the more we dig into it, the more that it looks bad for not just the game, but for really some of the decision-making around last night.
Yeah, rugby league is a brutal game on the field, Von, and at times that spills over into the off-field element of the game. And look, this is a genuine feud. It was a serious blow-up between two extremely high-profile figures. JT is one of the most decorated figures in the game and a commentator within the game. And then you've got Spencer Leniu, who is a state of origin forward. But it's multi-layered. There's lots of different layers to it to unpack. It began when Spencer was leaving the field. I think there was 24 minutes to go in the game. The Roosters were on their way to what was going to be an outstanding upset against the Broncos. And the crowd started to heckle Spencer. He didn't like that. So he's launched some expletives back at the crowd. Then he's caught JT in his eyesight as well, and he's given JT a spray too. That then led JT to want to approach Spencer at full time to query, well, can we try and resolve whatever this beef is? And it goes back to Ezra Mam and that incident from Las Vegas in 2024.
It's where 12 months ago.
It is, but obviously, Spencer at the time was suspended for 8 weeks. JT was very vocal about the fact that he thought, given that it was a racial slur and it was considered racial vilification by the NRL judiciary, he should have been given 12 weeks. Now, that hasn't sat well with Spencer. What else hasn't sat well with Spencer, and this is a huge part of it, is that he felt as though JT remained silent when Ezra went through his own off-field challenges last October, which ultimately meant that in December he was banned from playing for the opening 9 weeks of the season. So that's what Spencer has exchanged words with JT on the field after full time about. Then it's gone further. There's another chapter. Then it's gone into the tunnel at Suncorp Stadium, where JT's had so much success as a player, and he's had to have a conversation with Trent Robinson there. Robbo's then fronted the media. The Roosters are obviously...
very defensive of Spencer.
He was, yeah. And look, in fairness to the reporters who were covering the story, when you got a flashpoint moment like that at the end of a game in front of millions of people, well, people have to ask questions. Journos are going to ask questions, and especially when it involves a high-profile player like Spencer and also an ornament of the game like JT. So, look, unfortunately, it is messy, Von. I don't see it being resolved anytime soon. The NRL, there's been no official complaints, so the NRL are saying, OK, well, if we haven't got a formal complaint, then we don't have anything that we can actually deal with at this point in time. But I think everybody in the game would like to see it resolved at some stage, because you don't like to see that sort of vitriol and anger directed towards people.
It was an ugly incident, and Johnathan Thurston made a statement today saying, as Spencer left the field during last night's match, he made an abusive comment towards me, which it really took me by surprise. The comment was not of a racial nature, but overly aggressive in tone and unwarranted. So after the match, I approached Spencer on the field to seek clarity on what he said and why he said it. Spencer was again overly aggressive, and it became clear that he had interpreted the comments I made 12 months ago as a personal attack on him, which was not the case. A further conversation then took place with Roosters officials and Spencer outside the sheds, which is what we saw with Trent Robinson. JT says, I remain available if Spencer or the Roosters would like to discuss the matter privately. So it kind of feels like Johnathan Thurston has put the ball back into the Roosters' court. He is available to resolve this issue. Is the next move, does it have to come from the Roosters?
Well, if they're open and willing and prepared to listen, then yes, that's the way it looks as though it sits at the moment, Von. No one likes seeing a confrontation like that, but clearly Spencer still feels extremely strong, as though he's aggrieved because he doesn't agree with JT's position on his suspension and then other commentary off the back of it.
So an interesting next couple of days coming up, I would imagine.